After a wild race at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, we come here to another track that's going to prove to be a wild night. We are here at Richmond Raceway in Richmond, Virginia. Hello, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you so much for making us a part of your evening. First time since Friday night. It's been a while since we've been on air, but we are back here for the Western States Racing League Round 4 at Richmond Raceway, and I'm joined this week by the man who led the charge for Round 2 at Kansas, Jonathan Leach. John, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. The schedule worked out. As you said, going to be an exciting race at Richmond. Are these guys going to hang on to it in the corners? Who's it going to be? Who's going to hold on? Who's going to win? So, a lot of fun. Love the Western States League, and this will be a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. We got just under 3 minutes left in this free practice session. But right now we'll go to the point standings. Ryan Steele, as you can see, took over the points lead, now has a 4-point lead over Bob Beltrami, who finished second in the points. Both of those guys moving up a spot in the points. Bentley Glazer, with his bad run last week at Atlanta, sent him down to the third position. A lot of big movers and shakers, especially the man who currently sits in the 17th position right now. That's Charles Woods, last week's winner.
Yeah, and you know, I want to touch on the top 7 in points. 25 points separates the top 7. That's not a lot. That's a race. One bad race can change the entire spectrum of the top 7. So, really neat graphic. Thanks for putting that up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Is just seeing some of these guys and how some of the big movers and shakers. Ron Hollifield was able to gain a lot of spots last week. Guys like Rob Gall and William Fletcher, Dustin Webb, these are guys that did not participate in last week's race, that took a big plunge down the field, down the standings. Some of them are here tonight. I know Rob Gall is here tonight. He was in the race chat last week at Atlanta, saying he wished he could have been here, but unfortunately work kept him out. So those guys are going to be looking for big rebounds here tonight. As I believe, might be having some microphone issues there. As we've got a minute left in the open practice session here. Right now, the man that currently sits atop that open practice session is Jeff Hollingsworth. The first 5 drivers on time, Hollingsworth, Glazer, Beltrami, Fuson, those 5 are not on track right now. You're seeing Kyle McCartney here on track in that number 8, as we've got just under 30 seconds to go here in this open practice session. John, you back with us?
To be honest with you, I never left. I just didn't have anything to add in that pause.
Oh, okay.
I apologize. Yeah, I just didn't.
No, you're okay. I thought you might have been having mic problems.
Really well. I thought you summed it up. I couldn't add anything to it. We're just watching these guys practice and getting ready to go into the race. So I'm trying to stay mellow before the excitement of Richmond begins.
It certainly
because
is.
I mean, it's 10:15 where I am. It's going to end like at midnight. I need to try not to be too awake at midnight.
And that is a problem with this series. Sometimes you're a little too hyped up as we get into this qualifying session here tonight at Richmond. There is Marty Ray. He is going to be the first driver to jump out onto the racing surface. Earl Weaver is there as well. Kevin Thrift coming out on track right now, as well as one Bentley Glazer. And this is going to be a track where qualifying is incredibly important. We have 33 drivers here tonight at Richmond. That's essentially a full field for the truck series. That could create a lot of chaos here.
You know, I would agree with you, except if these guys drive tonight how they drove when I called the race, I don't think it's going to be chaos. I think this is a really talented field of drivers, and I mean the strength of field and the I rating. And if fans at home don't understand what I rating is, the higher it is, the more times you finish in the top 10 in the official series races, and the higher your iRating, the harder the competition. These guys can drive, and I expect them to keep it together and not be chaos. But it's going to be hard racing, as at least that's what I think is going to happen. So when you said chaos, if you mean there's going to be a lot of cautions, I disagree with you. If you mean chaos with a lot of people trading bombs back and forth, I definitely agree with you.
I certainly think it could be a little bit of both as Kyle McCartney goes right up to the top of the timing pylon. Here he is in the number 8. And after last week, what happened last week, getting put in the wall with about 5 laps to go by a car that was that had a little bit of a connection issue, I'm sure he is going to be looking for some redemption. He had last week's race virtually won, and he's going to qualify third here as Bentley Glazer and Bob Beltrami top him.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that. You were telling me the whole story, and then you say how he had it virtually won, and he had it virtually taken away by a blinker. How unfortunate.
It certainly was. As we're looking at Paul Hoffman right now, working on his second lap, currently in the 11th position. Other drivers on track, William Fletcher, Carl Burke, Dennis Fuson about to complete his first lap as Hoffman stays in 11th. There is the number 11 of Dennis Fuson. And Fuson, one of those guys, I believe, jumped up 6 spots in the points after last week's race at Atlanta. So he's starting to regain that form we saw from him all throughout last year that got him third in the point standings.
That's good news to hear. I always like to hear about somebody that jumped a good way in the standing, so we can watch the 11, make sure he has a good run to capitalize on that gain. Or is he going to fall prey to the spinny off of 4 and ruin that?
Yeah, that turn 4 is going to be a hazard here tonight. It is a very slick part of the racetrack as we watch Carl Burke complete his second and final lap. He will move himself up into the 14th position as we take a look now at Lucas McNeil in the number 51 Winston Chevrolet. That is, as you had mentioned, a big talking point for tonight is how slick it is off of turn 4 here at this racetrack. Very easy to lose the truck.
Yeah, for sure. Coming at turn 4, I mean, the difference in amount of throttle you give the truck is so minuscule, and what makes a difference of whether it sticks and you get going straight, or if you spin the tires just a bit and you go around. And then the thing that's interesting is it looks really, really wide from some camera angles, but coming right out of 4 or coming right into the corners, it's not that wide, and you're hard pressed to brake enough to try to turn it away and not hit the wall. So in race, a spin out of 4 is catastrophic typically.
It certainly is. Lucas McNeil puts himself into third position on the timing pylon. Right now you're watching Rod Hollifield in the number 7. He puts himself in the 19th position on his first lap. Jeff Hollingsworth currently on the pole right now at a 21.85. As here comes Hollifield to complete his second and final lap, and Hollifield will jump up to the 14th position as we take a look now at Mark Mcfadden here in that beautiful number 48 Hot Wheels machine. It's such a nice scheme, especially how that chrome look to it really pops under the lights.
It really is an awesome machine. If I got to remember correctly, my friend that helped call this league drives, in our Chris Cup league that you guys graciously call for us, he drives a Hot Chris machine with a similar blue paint, but it's not chrome like that one. That is just a gorgeous machine.
That might be one you have to ask, do you mind?
Yeah.
As we look at Thomas Mole in the number 81, put it 16th position on his first lap. Jeff Schmeyer up to 11th on his opening lap. As Mole crosses the line, he will jump up to the 12th position. Right behind Schmeyer, as here comes the driver of the number 30, Jeff Schmeyer, moves into 6th. So third row for the driver of the number 30. And right now, he is the only car on track right now as we have 4 minutes left here in this qualifying session. And thank you very much, Austin Huffman. We have somebody to follow now. As Huffman about to start his first lap, Ryan Steele, Charles Woods. Also, as Huffman loses it, and that's what you were talking about coming out of turn 4. Very easy to do that.
Yeah, that he got lucky. It just spun away that he was able to keep it right in the middle of the track. However, try doing that with the car underneath you or a car coming out of the corner behind you. It gets a whole lot more difficult. So these guys are all good drivers. They're really pushing it right now. I think in the race they're going to see them kind of settle down. They're going to feel out what they can do, and that might be an issue early, but I bet after about 30, 40 laps, we won't see many people spinning out of 4 anymore, if at all.
We have seen some good racing here at Richmond, a series that you were not with ESPN when we did this series. The Die Hard Racing League put on a very good race in the 87 cars here at Richmond. A very good race. I think there were only maybe 2 or 3 cautions, as there is the final run for Austin Huffman, and Ryan Steele jumps up into the 3rd position. So the championship leader gets himself into the top 2 positions, as right now there is last week's winner, Charles Woods, currently sitting on pit road here, as we have a good amount of cars, a fair amount of cars that have not qualified just yet. They still have 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and that's more than enough time around here to get a lap in. Dan Stussy, James Campbell, Keith Kellman, Javier Torres, Scott Hutchinson, which is a new name here to the series, Eric Woods, Barry Phil, and Charles Woods. Those guys have yet to set a time. So far, 26 drivers have set times here tonight, and I would have to assume the guys at the back, we know the quality of their racing. Those guys could be guys that are just going to chill and see what happens.
Yeah, either that or those guys are a little uncertain and they don't want to be in the way at the start of the race, and they're just going to kind of hang out in the back and then move forward. It's very well what could happen.
Looking at Kevin Thrift here, who has completed both of his times, currently starting in the 12th position.
You know, I want to ask you a question. I don't know if we can see it on if we can see it on the stream or your screen. If you can go back to Kevin, can you see that awesome shadow coming off that truck?
I can actually. Yes, let's see if we can get up here. Wow.
That's so cool.
And that's
kudos to iRacing.
Yeah, and he's parked right in front of that stanchion light down there that illuminates the inside part of the racetrack. So a very good, very nice spot there for him to park that car and give us a little bit of a show here as we try to kill off these last 37 seconds before we hit the grid. And right now, the starting lineup is pretty much set where it is right now, which means for the first time this season, Jeff Hollingsworth sits on the pole.
How about that? You know, look at this real quick. We didn't notice this. Ryan Steele, Lucas McNeil, their qualifying times must be separated by a couple thousandths, 21.95 and a 21.95.
Yeah, they're about to come across the top here. Here just a moment, hopefully. Oh, wow, 1/1000th of a second between the two. As that will officially now do it for this qualifying session. As we take a look at the grid here for the start of tonight's race, it'll be Jeff Hollingsworth on the pole position with Bentley Glazer next to him, only 6/100ths of a second separating those two, and those two were 1 and 2 in the practice session in that order. Ryan Steele and Lucas McNeil make up row number 2. Bob Beltrami and Kyle McCartney sit in row 3. Jeff Schmeyer and William Fletcher in row 4. Dennis Fuson and Rob Gall make up row number 5. Brian Barnes and Kevin Thrift sitting in row number 6. Row 7 will be Thomas Mole and Marty Ray. Wayne Hutchinson and Adrian Moore make up row number 8. Row 9 goes to Mark Mcfadden and Austin Huffman. Ron Hollifield and David Weaver make up row number 10.
Going into row 11 here, you've got David Wood and Paul Hoffman. Carl Burke and Dustin Burns are row 12. Earl Weaver, Stephen Baird, row 13. Row 14 is Charles Woods and Barry Phil. Row 14 is going to be Kevin Kellman and Javier Torres. 15, you have Eric Woods and James Campbell. Starting 33rd will be Dan Stussy, and 34th, Scott Hutchison. If you continue to scroll down for me if you can. Actually, I take that back. Yep, that is everybody.
Yep, the 34.
That is our drivers.
So 34 drivers set to take part here tonight, and everyone from Charles Woods down to Scott Hutchinson not taking time. And because this is a short track here, we are expecting 2 laps here as we pace around for the start of this race. Give these guys just a little bit more, a little bit longer to think about this race start. And the race start probably is going to be the most key here, because this is where you can really hurt yourself.
Yeah, the first couple laps when the track is still real green is going to be the danger coming out of turn 4, and maybe mistiming the corners a little bit, like entry into 1 is where I tend to see early mistakes. I guess I should say where I normally make early mistakes. So, and I'm not saying lap 1, turn 1, but I mean just kind of drive it in a little too much, or maybe not enough. Then you check up the guys behind you. So
we're going to have one more pace lap here. We'd like to thank our sponsors here for tonight. We're not going to do the full read here. No, we're good. We'd like to thank Diecast Nuts for being a sponsor for us tonight, as they usually are. Post your own diecast collections, add or trade to it in the shop, and see other members' collections at diecastnuts.com, or on Facebook at diecastnuts. Or on Facebook at Diecast Nuts. Those are the words I was looking for. And by Rocket Racing Setups. Rocket Racing Setups is one of the leading setup builders to the iRacing community. Find dirt and asphalt setups there at rocketracingsetups.com. As we get set for the start of tonight's race, there they go. We are green flag racing here at Richmond. 160 laps of close action.
160 laps of close action indeed. Jeff Hollingsworth gets a great start. Bentley Glazer's going to follow him right into turn number 3. All good so far. You got a few drivers stuck on the high side. It looks like, is that Lucas McNeil stuck on the high side?
Yep, it is.
And then the number 14 of Bob Beltrami stopping him from getting into that inside line. So far, so good. No spins out of turn 4. Very impressed.
Yep, we're rolling here at Richmond, as there is Lucas McNeil, and that Winston number 71 is, I think, Adrian Moore has had an issue a little bit further behind. There he is around. No caution as of yet.
I bet he got tapped where he was. It doesn't look like that was coming out of turn 4. He might have just had a little tap, got back quickly.
Let's see what happened here. I think Mark Mcfadden might have something to do. Oh, no, he just...
No, sure enough, yeah, just took the air off the rear spoiler, and he went around. That's weird. It's a little farther forward than I would have expected, but gets it going. No worries there.
Just gassed it up a little.
He's got his work cut out for him. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Certainly does have his work cut out for him, as we've gotten pretty single file here early on. You're watching the battle for the race lead here. This is Jeff Hollingsworth and Bentley Glazer. Remember, Glazer was 2 for 2 at the start of the season going into last week. Had a bad run last week at Atlanta, moved him down into 3rd place. We know how good Jeff Hollingsworth is, and the points leader sitting there in the 3rd position. So these guys, this is a very healthy battle up here at the front of the field.
It sure is, and something you can see right now is everybody's getting single file. They're not trying to take that high lane. Everybody's kind of running around the bottom here. That's really the best way to get around the track. I'm impressed to see that. Honestly, I'm really surprised that they did single file out. You don't see that in a lot of leagues. So kudos to these guys for, in my opinion, doing it the right way. And not fighting too early. I bet in about 15 or 20 laps, we're going to start seeing the tire wear, and we're going to start really seeing movers. But as of right now, everybody's spread out. Half a second, 3/4 a second. It's getting spread out rather quickly, I must say.
I'm glad you brought that up, and you can see just how spread out everybody is right now. Trying to, oops.
Are you trying numbers on the map, or?
No. We're good. As you can see, the main bulk of this pack here is pretty much separated by half a track right now. So that's part of these races here. Short tracks, you do have to make up time rather quickly around here if you don't want to end up falling a half a lap behind.
Oh, absolutely. And in Richmond, as the time or the laps go on in a run, it really doesn't take long for the leader to catch that last guy on the lead lap. It doesn't take that long because that guy up in front, he's got clean air. He's making hot laps. Those guys back in the pack are trying to get around people. And Richmond being, 3/4 a mile, doesn't take long. Caution is out. I don't know for what yet.
I think it's Kyle McCartney. And there's David Wood.
Wow.
It's McCartney just trying to get turned around. Fortunately, it doesn't look like there's too much damage on both of those trucks while the back end of McCartney's truck is jacked up.
Well, as long as he didn't it doesn't look like he took a blunt front impact. He'll probably be okay just because it's the nature of a short track. Let's see what happened here.
This is him battling William Fletcher in that number 28. And Fletcher just a little too hard in.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Fletcher looked like he might have had his line there, and the number 8, Kyle McCartney in the number 8 Toyota, I feel like he was just running his line, and they just kind of met there in the middle. Yeah, I mean, he kind of came down, but he also checked up a lot more than Fletcher did. Racing deal. I'm not assigning any blame there, which isn't our job anyhow, but that's just a racing deal. Kyle McCartney wanted to turn and have like a little bit farther of an apex in, so he braked a little bit more, and I guess William Fletcher was expecting him to stay higher and trying to get underneath him, and that's how that happened.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you have to worry about with short track racing like this is guys are going to try to work different lines at different times as the tires get worn. So Fletcher worrying about his line, McCartney worrying about his line, and they both got into each other.
Yeah, they most definitely sure did.
As you see McCartney trying to get out before the pace truck and does successfully. We will do at least one more lap under pacing conditions here, as that was the first caution of the race between Kyle McCartney in the 8 and the 28 of William Fletcher, and it does, that nose is beat in on the front of the 28. We'll try to get a, there you can see it. There's, right at that headlight, there's a pretty good amount of, it's certainly punched in.
Yeah, probably. It's definitely punched in. I don't expect it to make too much of a difference, if anything at all, here. Give him another quarter mile. Make it a mile and a half. It'd be a different story. But here at Richmond, I don't anticipate that to be an issue unless he's down on power. So we'll find out.
That could certainly be a worry as Jeff Hollingsworth lines up on the inside, looking to get that restart that he got at the initial start of this race. So right now it is Hollingsworth, Glazer, Steele, Beltrami, and McNeil, your top 5. John, why don't you get us started here?
I would be happy to. I enjoy Richmond, or maybe I should say I enjoy watching not driving Richmond, but these guys sure can drive it. Jeff Hollingsworth, Bentley Glazer, coming out of turn 4. Flagman's waving that flag like crazy. Jeff Hollingsworth gets a great start, and Bentley Glazer tucks in right behind him. Ryan Steele is going to hang on to the third place position. Bobby Beltrami, 4th. It looks like everybody, aside from that number 51 machine, 30 machine, is trying to tuck in and just run single file. In fact, it looks like Jeff Schmeyer and might get stuck on the outside unless he can get clear of that number 28 machine of William Fletcher.
Yep, Schmeyer might have to dive it in a little bit deeper here on the 28 than he probably wants to, and Schmeyer should get the run coming off of the corner and will. So that is Schmeyer maintaining his 6th position. A truck that we are used to seeing a certain way does not look that way here tonight. That is the driver of the number 4, Brian Barnes. Barnes changing it up a little bit here tonight. We're used to see him in that NASCAR Hall of Fame, just straight blue number 4. He's added some color. He's added a new sponsor. We're making improvements. After 3 championships in a row, I think he can afford some paint.
God, I would hope he can afford some paint. Somebody get this man some paint.
I think he got it. As Will Fletcher makes a mistake coming out of 4, he's going to lose at least 2 spots. As there goes Dennis Fuson.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye on him and see if this is damage related or being stuck on the outside related. Because I mean, all of these guys are single file, and once one person goes underneath you, and if there's not a hole, you are, I mean, pardon my French here, screwed. There's nothing you can do as the caution's out. Let's see what it's for.
I think this is David Weaver here in the back. And there's that damage number 16. You can see the front end on Weaver's truck torn up. So we will see here momentarily what happened to David Weaver. It looked like this one was a multi-car. See coming into 1 here, Weaver. Well, it starts alone. Oh, no, it starts ahead of him as that's Mcfadden and Huffman getting into it and then just running right in. So we'll see. We'll try to get up to the front here and see what happens here. As you see, they're side by side. That's Huffman in the 3, Mcfadden in the 48. Boy, they just got really close at an awkward part of the track to get really close at. And there's the 46 come barreling right in to the back of the 27, and that's caution number 2.
Yes, sir. It sure is. Kind of surprised, I must say, at the way these guys are running. I still don't expect this to be 6, 7 plus cautions. Like I said, I think they're going to get the lost my train of thought. The monkeys out of the barrel quickly. We'll make something up for it, and they'll really get going green flag racing quickly.
It looks as though Earl Weaver, after that incident, has called it an evening. You see Huffman and McCartney leaving pit road up at the top of your screen there, trying to fix as much damage as they can. Dan Stussy sitting on pit road as well. As we work our second caution here, working on lap 22. We should get the restart here with lap 24 of 160. And this is not the last short track we are going to hit here in the next couple of weeks, because next week for these guys we're going to Bristol, so we got to get our short track racing down here rather quick.
You know, if I am free for that, I would like to be here for that, if that is possible. I don't know about your other partner, but I think I would like to be here.
My main partner here for this series is Tony, and he's been out for about a month now.
Still in the hospital.
Yeah, we'll get the full updates on everything. Glazer really moved over there on Steele. We'll update you once this race starts to settle in, as the pace truck is off, about to go green flag racing. There we go. And with 23 laps in the books, we are back to green flag racing here at Richmond. Side-by-side action, as you see Lucas McNeil there in the number 51 trying to sneak another position on this restart, and will take that 4th position away from Bob Beltrami as they head into turn 3.
He sure will. And something's a little different about this restart. It seems like guys are a little bit more aggressive farther back there in the 7th on back to about 12th position. I was a little surprised. Everybody didn't just fall in line. People are working the high side a little bit. You got a couple guys stuck on the outside, the 11:31. Looks like they're going to get in line right in front of the number 65 machine, 65 machine, I apologize. A couple more guys outside. Now they've sorted it out, but I was surprised. A lot of guys 2x2 for a hot minute there.
Yep, and there's the 19, a little side action there on the 65.
Got it together.
Yep.
They sure did. He got it together, got it straight, got it through the corner, didn't lose any more spots. Great job there. A little out of whack, stuck on the outside, needs to get clear. There he goes.
Stephen Bayard in the 19 has been the one that has moved up the most. He is up 14 positions from his starting spot, and that would indicate to me that Bayard I think Bayard did actually take qualifying, as this is Bayard's first race of the season here in that number 19 Toyota Tundra. Picked a great race to make his season debut. As a little bit further up the road, there's Thomas Mole Jr. on the inside of the 3-time defending champion, Brian Barnes, going into turn 3, and a lot of room being given. Just want to settle into the race at this point.
Yeah, definitely going to try to settle in, run single file, kind of figure out what they've got on the long run. Since we got a car in the wall 28 machine, he's all right. Yeah, settle in, see what your tires look like here in the long run. Kind of start devising a plan. What are you going to do? How hard you're going to run the truck later? Things like that. That's what these guys are trying to do. Wow, got quite the battle there for 9th.
Yep, that's Will Fletcher on the outside line, hung up. Under him is the 11 of Dennis Fuson. Rob Gall trying to follow his way through. And again, we saw Gall lose, 11 positions in points by missing Atlanta. And while real life happens, and again, we'll bring that up here in just a second. If you are going to miss a race at the beginning of the season, is certainly where you would want to lose it, because while those big time position drops aren't great, you don't have to make up as many points as you would have to make up at the for a race that you would miss later on.
That's a very good statement to make, for sure.
As we see a battle here for the 2nd position, is Ryan Steele making a pass on Bentley Glazer. Nobody has come into pit yet up here at the top of the field, so these guys are still on the same tires they started the race on. So we'll take a look at the lap history between these two, and it has shown Steele has been quicker of the two.
Yeah, significantly quicker. See, we're getting into that area where the tires start coming into play now. You know how I mentioned earlier, 15, 20 laps. Now we're at 34. I mean, we had some cautions, so that was a little slower, But now these tires are starting to get worn down. You're going to see who's better on the longer run versus the opposite effect.
Speaking of Rob Gall, he has gotten around Dennis Fuson there in the number 11. So the 31 up to the 9th position. Thomas Mole Jr. has made up some positions. I believe the 19 has had an issue. Stephen Bayard. Yep, and he is in pit road. Oh, there's Adrian Moore sliding, coming out of turn 4. We're going to stay green. If he can keep it going, he does keep it going, and we stay green. Boy, now the problem is he's going to be on those hot tires after sliding them right in front of the leaders, and that's a car that's going to be very unpredictable at the moment. As Moore keeping to the inside, or trying to at least, trying to stay out of the way of the leaders who are now working lap traffic, damaged traffic, we should say, as we'll take a look here once the leaders get around here. Take a look and see what happened to Stephen Bayard in the number 19. Here he is on the outside. This is a turn 2. Cuts down, him battling Carl Burke. Mark Mcfadden, and just looks like too much rear brake. Oh, with a 61. My goodness, with a big hit.
Yeah, the second hit was what did it, but yeah, that's just weird how that happened. Just a little too much brake. That doesn't happen very often here at Richmond. And sorry that I was away for a couple moments, but yeah, that doesn't happen very often. Not very many spins coming into the corner. It looks like the number 78 of Dan Stussy is coming down pit road.
As into turn 1, you can see the gap now between first and second that certainly closed up with the introduction of lap traffic, as David Weaver and Adrian Moore have both been put laps down on track. Mark Mcfadden in the 48, I believe, might be in pit road. Dan Stussy, as you mentioned, in pit road currently. And while we have a second of breather here, as Brian Barnes now battling Thomas Mole, this for the 7th position. We had mentioned a couple of weeks ago that both of our leaders here at ESPN, both Sam Cooper-Bennett and Tony Trapasso, both came down with COVID-19. Sam has recovered, and you will actually hear Sam on Thursday night with the new series that debuts here in 2 nights' time, which we'll get to a little bit later on in the race. So Sam will be back on Thursday night. Tony, unfortunately, not doing as well. He has tested COVID negative now, but is still in the hospital for an undetermined amount of time, as other medical issues have cropped up due to COVID-19. So hoping Tony all the best for certain, and hopefully we'll hear him back on ESPN soon. As a lot of series that me and him do together. This one, Sim Racer's Edge, starting up next Wednesday night. I'll be honest, we really missed the old log here.
The log, more like eccentric. He's the eccentric edge that we're missing.
Yeah, he certainly is, and you know when it's one of those guys that you know when they're not here. And it has not been the same since Tony has had his health issues, and we're very much looking forward to Tony coming back here for his weekly spots as we move on. As there you saw Brian Barnes. Go ahead.
I was going to say, the only man that can keep up with the loud speaking of Byron's one of our lead, he's our accountant and producer, is Tony. When those guys have a broadcast, you know they're here because they're yelling louder than these cars or trucks sound. And Tony's the only guy who can match Byron, so you'll know it when he's back. But we wish him all the best. I hope he gets things start turning in the right direction quickly, and as they should.
Certainly. Is there you see this is a battle for the 5th position here between Lucas McNeil and Bob Beltrami. Beltrami's been gaining ever so slightly on McNeil, both running virtually identical lap times these last 4 times around, and I think with Adrian Moore being in front of McNeil, that might be hurting him just a little bit.
Yeah, it could be. It's kind of difficult whenever, I mean, traffic makes it hard to get around this place. So once you start getting into lapped cars, your line has to change. People are mirror driving to get out of the way. They might go the way you're not expecting them to go. It really gets difficult once you start getting into traffic at Richmond.
He took a big dive, did McNeil, going into one, got him up into the middle lane, and Beltrami's going to pounce on that mistake as Beltrami on the inside of the 51 of McNeil going through 1 and 2, pushes up ever so slightly, gets the run off, and should have the move done. Going into turn number 3, he does. Bob Beltrami back into the top 5, back in the position where he started, 5th.
Yeah, sure enough. It's just the change in tire wear. Who adapts faster? Who doesn't adapt? Who's better at the middle long run? Who's better at the super long run? It all changes, but I mean, the first run's always a learning experience. How's it going to be, as we saw some sparks right there? And after that, people are going to adjust their driving style when they put on those fresh virtual Goodyear tires. And then we'll see a change, and whoever's on top of that change will be the drivers that move towards the front.
Certainly, you see David Weaver coming out of pit road in the number 16. That is the 7 of Ron Holifield that we saw get around the 11 of Dennis Fuson just a moment ago. Beltrami coming under heavy fire from his closest championship rival, Brian Barnes. These two have finished 1-2 in the points here for at least the last three seasons, as there goes Barnes around on the inside.
You're telling me that number 14 machine has been so close 3 seasons in a row, and has lost 3 seasons in a row to the same guy?
However, before the last 3 seasons, Beltrami won the previous 6. So,
oh, right. That's correct. I forgot about that. I don't feel as weird now. I forgot about that. Guys, y'all got to share the love.
So the last 13 seasons of this of the Western States Racing League Truck Series, which we're on season 44 now, the last 13 seasons have been, well, the last 12 seasons have been won by the 2 drivers that are currently on your screen, the drivers of the 4 and the 14. And with the way this season has started, Beltrami's made some mistakes. We haven't really seen Barnes be the major threat that we've seen him be over the last couple of years. There are new title contenders here, and if they can keep up the consistency, be here every single week, the way Bentley Glazer has done, which he didn't do last year. Ryan Steele is new to the series. Those guys have some pretty stiff competition this year.
Yeah, it sure seems like it. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at something. Give me a second. I'm going to bring it back up real quick. Yeah, Ryan Steele. So you know how we were talking about I-rating earlier? Not to slack on Brian Barnes or Bob Beltrami. This could just be because Ryan Steele runs a lot more official races. But his I-rating is 1,300 points higher, which, if they're official drivers, tells me he's pretty damn good. Excuse my language. Very sorry.
You're fine. No, you're fine.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Not that those guys are bad, but he's quite talented. You got Wayne Hutchinson in the number 17 Toyota farther back. His I rating is a 47-46. So, I mean, there's definitely some new competition for these, last, 13 season winners between the two of them.
There is Wayne Hutchinson in the 17. I believe, if I remember right, he was the Friday Night Cup Series champion last season in the number 17. So Wayne Hutchinson trying to find his footing here in the trucks. He certainly has it in the Cup cars, trying to find it here in the trucks. He's up 5 positions from where he started. Up in the 10th spot right now is Wayne Hutchinson, as we're starting to see lap traffic that's fanning these drivers out, as it's Keith Kellman in the 07 getting lapped. And that could create quite a bit of advantage for some of these guys, because needing to move out of the way and run different lines as lap cars start coming up could open the door for somebody behind them to try to stick their nose in and make a pass.
Very much so. I'm glad you brought that up as we're seeing more lap traffic as we got a
Oh,
car spinning
that
and
was
he spins down pit road. Oh my God, that's terrible.
that was Barry Phil.
Oh man.
I think
Might
Phil
as well
was.
pit.
I think Phil was trying to come into pit road and ended up getting rear-ended on pit entry. We'll see if this will go back far enough to see what happened. Oh no, he didn't.
I don't think so at all. But yeah, might
Yeah,
as well
no.
go ahead and pit early.
Yeah, that was the 3 of Paul Huffman that turned him sideways. So now at least, and you're right, that's the benefit of a mistake of an incident like that. You get to come in, fresh tires. You don't have to worry about spinning the car around. It's as if you just took your pit stop normally.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't scheduled. Very,
No.
very unscheduled. That was unscheduled. That was scheduled by his buddy behind him. That I don't think he was ready to come in yet. But he's about to make up a lot of time, especially if he can get around the leaders, and he will get around them quickly with those fresh tires.
Yeah, but we're not too far away from scheduled pit stops coming up. You just saw the 53 of Carl Burke pass by your screen. I believe Burke is running currently in the 17th position right now. The last car on the lead lap in that VSM Racing, number 53. There is last week's winner, Charles Woods, ahead of him, as I believe Bob Beltrami. No, the timing and scoring is having a bit of a fit, unfortunately. So Beltrami still currently sitting in the 6th position. As we're starting to see gaps forming here, but it's the mid-pack between Thomas Mole, Rob Gall, and Wayne Hutchinson right now that are having this close battle, and Lucas McNeil in the 51 is right there as well. So a 4-car battle for the 7th position as Mole gets under Lucas McNeil, and that might send him right to the back of the line. Gall, however, gives him room. McNeil should hold the 8th position, but Gall sticks his nose in going into 1, forces McNeil to stay in that middle line.
Yeah, I was about to tell you. I disagree with you, and Gall proved it right then and there. And so, wow, 51, he's going to drive it in hard. And seeing he has to check up so much, and now it's going to open the door for the number 17 machine. He's going to at least lose 2 positions for attempting to take that spot away from Thomas Mole.
And we see it so often how quickly an attack can turn into a defense, as McNeil, who was running in the 6th position moments ago, is now battling and will get in front of Wayne Hutchinson to keep that 8th position. This is a 5-car battle right now. That is for the 6th position, and Hollifield in that 7 has been working his way up through this field. You can see there on the battle box in the bottom right corner, up 9 positions from where he started tonight.
Absolutely. When you first mentioned it was going to be a 4-truck battle, I'm like, man, maybe more about a 5-truck battle. He just needs 2 laps of side-by-side racing, and Hollifield's going to catch him. He sure did, but now the question is, how do you get around these guys, especially if you're not Hollifield? How do you get around them without losing positions? As it looks like the number 31 machine of Rob Gall is looking to the inside now of Thomas Mole. Thomas Mole gets up really high, and he's got to be real careful so he doesn't open the door again for Lucas McNeil to try.
Green flag pit stops are starting. You saw Mark Mcfadden come in. There's Rob Gall. That is for the 6th position there, as Gall now trying to battle, and the caution comes out.
Oh, boy. That's not good.
See what happened here. Possibly been Marty Ray, maybe?
Maybe so. I saw him pitting before the caution came out, though. But that was based off of timing.
And I think we might have seen it. Could it have been Barry Phil, maybe? Oh, yep. There. Oh, yep. There's Barry Phil getting hit this time by David Weaver.
Formula Drift, Richmond.
And I'm surprised. We've
racing style.
And if that was the cause of the caution, that's interesting, because we've seen worse incidents than that and it not bring out a caution. So I'm surprised that that would be the case, as green flag pit stop, as a green flag, my goodness, as pit stops are now starting as Jeff Hollingsworth leads the field down for their first pit stops here almost halfway through this event.
Almost halfway indeed. This kind of changes some strategy, but this is going to put a lot of drivers on the same footing, and then a lot of unfortunate drivers are going to have to take the wave around, and they're going to be stuck in the back, and are going to have to drive their way back through the field, which will make this interesting. So that is something we can wait to see in how that goes.
Certainly, as Hollingsworth wins the race off of pit road, which has been so accustomed here on iRacing. And that's one of the smaller things that I wish would change, is that there is the ability for the pit crews to make some mistakes. So this way you can see some variation instead of just going in and coming out of pit road in the same spot that we see a vast majority of the time.
Well, you know, even still, though, some of the pit stops, I mean, they're not 4 seconds long, but I mean, sometimes somebody gets away with a high 13-second pit stop and somebody else has got a 16.2, you know? So sometimes it happens, but not to the degree of variance that you're requesting. And I would like for that to happen, but as much as I struggle getting on the pit road, how about we leave it alone?
Yeah, especially with some of my my ventures on pit road as of late in races that we've been in together. As you see, there is that 97 Coast Guard machine. That is the leader of the race. Everyone in front of him will be getting wave arounds here momentarily as we get set to go back to green flag racing here, almost at the halfway point.
Yeah, we're getting there. And, you know, we got a slight lull here, and we're talking about short track racing. You and I should be short track racing come this Sunday if you're going to make it at Nashville in the Chris Cup Series.
Yep, there you see.
Not looking forward to it.
You see coming up on ESPN. Before we get to Sunday, though, we have 2 races on Thursday night. John and I will be back in the booth for the USRA Cup Series at Dover on Thursday night. After that will be the debut of the Dirty Old Bastards 410 Dirt Series. They will be starting their season up. It'll be a 35-lap race at Volusia. That will be with Sam. That is actually a typo on my part. The broadcast will start at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Then on Friday night, an event that is very worrying to the drivers that are participating in it. The iRacing East Super Speedway Series will take to the track for the first time at the iRacing Super Speedway in the Xfinity cars. And they are rather curious as to how that race is going to play out. Nate Siefker and I will be in the booth for that. And the Chris Cup Series at Nashville, as you had mentioned before, this Sunday.
Yeah, I don't like the Super Speedway. But we're going green flag racing now. The truck just pulled in. I guess I'll take it. Jeff Hollingsworth is on the gun. He's going to go ahead and stretch out and take command of this pack. Ryan Steele is going to take control of the second place position. The battle's for third between Bentley Glazer and Jeff Schmeyer. Elders.
I don't know if that was Glazer trying to do a crossover on the 30 of Schmeyer, or whether or not that was him getting loose as we got 3
wow, look behind
wide.
him. 4 wide. Oh, they almost. Woo!
They all make it
Intensity.
through. Yep, and Brian Barnes was the big winner in that. Barnes up to the 5th position in that number 4, still not done jockeying for position as Brian Barnes. Caution is out. I believe it's the 7 of Hollifield. Yep, there he is.
Sure.
It's the 4 of Dustin Burns with him. As we'll see what happened here. He's battling with Dennis Fuson, and Fuson just drove it in way too deep.
Let's look at that from a different angle. I don't want to say that one angle, if we can.
Try to.
Yeah, I like this angle.
Our chase chopper can see, and Yeah, just
I'm,
short track racing.
Yeah, I think Hollifield was trying to run his line and thought he had a little more room than he had.
That's the
But I mean,
second time.
maybe Fuson drove in a little hard, but that's what you got to do. You
Yep.
got to drive in to get underneath these guys here. But go ahead, second time. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine, especially on these restarts where this would be the prime time to make up positions here at a track like Richmond, especially if there is going to be a lot of caution. I believe this is caution number 4 here tonight. And we are just at the halfway point, working on lap 80, which is the halfway mark. We saw a very long green flag run. I want to say, 50 laps or so. Guys came in, put new tires on, and we're back under caution again here for the 4th time tonight. And with that, we will take a quick break. We will be right back. You are watching the Western States Racing League on ESPN. Back in a moment.
Your turn.
Tonight's broadcast of the Western States Racing League is sponsored by DiecastNuts.com. Post your own diecast collection, add or trade to it in the shop, and see other members' collections at DiecastNuts.com and on Facebook at Diecast Nuts. And by Rocket Racing Setups. Rocket Racing Setups is one of the leading setup builders for the iRacing community. Find dirt and asphalt setups, tuning guides, fuel sheets, and much more at Rocket Racing Setups today. As we go back to green flag racing here, working lap 85, so we are beyond the halfway point. Jeff Hollingsworth has led every single lap here in tonight's race. As we look a little bit further back into the field, and boy, we are seeing a lot of side-by-side racing here as this race gets a little bit later.
Absolutely. We're getting past we are past the halfway mark, and to these drivers, it looks like it's a lot closer to the end than it really is. So tensions are going to start to heat up. Maybe there'll be another lull, but I doubt it. I think we're going to see a lot more side-by-side racing as people are trying to take positions away, and as people are trying to hang on to positions. Nobody's going to give anything up for free anymore.
No, certainly not. As Thomas Mole now on the inside of Bob Beltrami, that is for the 8th position. And look at who has fought all the way back inside the top 10. That is the driver of the 8, Kyle McCartney, who, if you remember, he was the reason for the first caution. I believe it was around lap 10, if I remember right. Ended up backed into the fence in turns 1 and 2, and McCartney now back into the top 10. Took him half the race, but a very good recovery drive from him.
Yeah, so far he's making his way back to the front. He's got 63 more laps to go. No, I can't do math.
73,
can't do
I
math.
think is what you're at.
Yeah, 73, but he's got plenty of time to make up for the earlier mistakes. Now, if something happens now, it's a different story.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit harder for him to recover now as we've gotten single file, and I'm starting to feel the vibes that we had felt earlier on as Dennis Fuson gets around Carl Burke. That is for the 12th position. As, boy, Marty Ray getting up close and personal with that outside wall. Trying to hold position away from the number 66 of Kevin Thrift, who is running, I believe, his second race of the season here, of the 4 races, this being the 4th race that we've done. Kevin Thrift in that 66 had a solid run at Atlanta and is not faring too poorly here. He's in the 17th position, still right around midway in that field, though.
We've hit this lull, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead with Thrift.
No,
We just
you're
hit
fine.
a lull, and I don't know what to say anymore.
No,
It's green flag. Settle down. What are we doing? Sorry.
We're all good. As Thrift just sitting in place right now in the 17th position. You see there at the very bottom of your screen, Kyle McCartney looking in on Bob Beltrami. And McCartney, a couple guys in the wall. Thomas Mole was certainly in the wall there. I believe Beltrami might have caught it, but Mole stuck to it, and that's going to cost him a couple of positions.
It sure will. Do you see that rear bumper? You can definitely tell he's taking an impact to the back of that thing. He's going to hang tight next to Beltrami, trying to hold on to that position. Maybe get a better run off the corner, but Beltrami gets through the corner very well. Still side by side. Rather impressed with Mole at the moment. If he can stay where he is, he might be able to hang on to that position.
Yeah, he's hanging on that outside better than we've seen anybody else hang on out there tonight. As Mole, these guys have been side by side for a good 2 or 3 laps here. And there's going to come a point where, okay, how much more, especially around here at Richmond, where it's a faster short track. And
yeah, he just had to give it in
yeah.
right there. That was his only chance to give it up without losing more positions.
I was just about to say, how much more can you battle? This is one of the faster short tracks. It's flat. I mean, that's killing your tires to be battling like that. How much longer could you possibly do it without worrying about your tires? And before I even could get it out, he's given up the spot.
Yeah, well, I think he found a good area to tap the brake a little more, a little less gas, and slide right in front of the competition there in front of him so he could keep his relative position. And Kyle McCartney in the number 8 gladly, well, I'm going to say gladly, but graciously let him in. And now they're running the way you see it.
This is the second pack of cars here. This is being led by Bob Beltrami in that number 14. He is the 8th position car. There is a 2.25 seconds up to this man here, the 31 of Rob Gall. Again, we saw Gall in the YouTube chat last week saying that he couldn't be here because of work. Had a big drop in points, unfortunately for him. And he is now settling in for a very nice top 10 finish, looking at the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. He's... Oh, man, lost my train of thought. I was going to say he was trying to get by a car right there, but I think that was a lapped car.
Yep, it is. It's
it was a lapped car. Darn 04. Nothing wrong with you, but you fooled me. You fooled me for a moment there. But I was going to say, Rob Gall looking at trying to take away the 6th place position, but not really. I lied. It's fooled.
Yes.
Cadoodled, bardoodled, whatever the word is.
Gall still working on Lucas McNeil. However, this battle here back for the 8th position is really still heating up. Carl Burke trying to get under Dennis Fuson. That is for the 12th position.
Oh,
we saw Fuson as Burns is having quite a time. He's trying to stay out of the way, but he's making himself noticed, which is, in this context, not all that good.
No, unfortunately, it's not all that good. But hey, Mr. Dustin, you are on the broadcast, and
Yeah,
that's
there you go.
better than most drivers in a broadcast get.
Yeah,
But that's one thing we're better at here. We showcase you everybody,
yeah, we try our best to hit everyone, especially in these longer runs.
especially when
Where
it's a Jack Daniel truck. Ooh
yeah,
wee,
it's,
some good stuff,
there you
which I
go.
don't drink.
It's Austin Huffman trying to catch up to him. Here's the third place runner, Jeff Schmeyer. We've seen him in the 32 truck at the beginning of the season. Now he's back in his familiar number 30. He's found himself in a nice little hole. He's about a second behind second position Ryan Steele and about 0.8 of a second ahead of Bentley Glazer, who was battling the 24 of James Campbell. So Schmeyer has found himself in a nice little pocket here as we continue on.
And yeah, no, I like where he is. He can run his line. He's a little too far back to do anything reckless to try to catch Ryan Steele, but he's far enough in front of Bentley Glazer that he doesn't have to do any. He doesn't have to push it. I like where he's sitting right there, just running his line, hugging the bottom, not using up his tires, waiting to see if the 2 leaders will battle it out and bring him right to him.
And speaking of the 2 leaders, again, as I mentioned in passing here on this restart, it's not quite pillar to post since the race hasn't ended yet. We still have 55 laps to go. The man you see in the lead has led from the drop of the green flag here at the start of this race. Hollingsworth has clinched most laps led already, and he has had Steele breathing down his neck since the middle of that long run that we had seen from about lap 30 to lap 75. So Steele has been right there, but has not been able to catch up to Hollingsworth.
Well, you know what they say. If you're trying to get around somebody, just get behind them, start going to school, and you just might.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be what he's doing. He's going to school, and it seems like he's getting a little better, and a little better, and a little better.
Yeah, running times very comparable. They are the fastest 2 drivers on track right now are the 97 of
Top
Hollingsworth
2.
and the 12 of Steele.
Yeah, top 2.
So look
Bob
through,
Beltrami ran a really quick lap, actually. 22:04 for him, so top 3 drivers, first, second, and 8th.
Yep, there's about to pass Barry Phil. Phil several laps down in that number 99. Mobile, I believe he went off the side of Thomas Mole there. That put him in the wall as there goes the 8 of Kyle McCartney around the 14 of Bob Beltrami. So put McCartney up into the 8th position. Now he's got a second and a half to work to try to get up to Rob Gall and Lucas McNeil, the 2 you see on screen right now.
Yeah, we're starting to recover relatively nicely. Still plenty of time. Already in the top 10. Just drive your race and take what you can get.
Certainly has been the case for these guys as we're still watching this battle here. This is right again at the very back end of the top 10. This is the battle for the 8th position between, back one more, there we go. Battle for the 8th position between Kyle McCartney, Bob Beltrami, Thomas Mole, and Wayne Hutchinson. These guys have been racing for more or less all night long with each other as they've managed to maintain this little group. This little pack is now the 3 of Paul Huffman is going to get into the mix here. Just coming out of pit road is the number 3 Budweiser truck. And that's actually going to open the door for Wayne Hutchinson. And as I had mentioned before that run, getting into lap traffic, that could open the door for some guys. And that's exactly what happened for Wayne Hutchinson. Mole had to go high in 3 and 4 to allow the 3 under him. And that opened the door for the 17 to follow right through.
This is when you don't like the lapped cars. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you're cursing them under your breath in the helmet where no one else can hear you.
And sometimes you're cursing them out loud over race chat. Typically the way it works here on iRacing.
Sometimes I wonder if we should really be able to do that.
Yeah.
We don't have spotters to go tell the other guy how much we hate him, so we just got to do it ourselves.
Well, in some cases, and that to me is a lot of fun. The fact that iRacing gives you the ability to spot somebody, that to me sometimes is more fun than actually running the race because it gives you something different to do. It's a completely different challenge, requires a completely different skill set, and honestly could be pretty doggone fun.
Yeah, I mean, it can be fun, and there's a couple guys I like to spot for. It's still more fun when you're driving and you win, though. It's fun when you win when you're spotting, but I still rather win, from behind the wheel.
It is nice to know, though, that you were able to lead somebody to a win, whether or not they were going to get it or you managed to really help them out. It's nice to win either way, and it's a completely different feeling when you actually go and help somebody to a win than actually doing it yourself.
No, this is very true. It's the concept of it's kind of like the volunteer, giving style concept. Yeah. There's a better word for it, generous.
Yes.
It's being it's being generous, at the same time, and getting and helping someone get to a win from you being extraordinarily generous and helping them instead of racing yourself and wrecking them.
And what you're watching now, is the battle that has gotten a lot closer. This is the battle for the third position between Jeff Schmeyer, who has held that position. Bentley Glazer, who we had mentioned before, has gained those 8/10 pretty much back, has gotten within striking distance of Jeff Schmeyer, and they have brought Brian Barnes into this group as well. And Barnes has put quite a distance between himself and Lucas McNeil, 3.5 seconds between the driver of the number 4 and the driver of the 51. This battle for third here could get very, very interesting as we are within 40 laps to go, down to 39 to go.
It most definitely could. And talking about Bentley Glazer, was almost the fastest driver on track, but that is still reserved for the leader of Jeff Hollingsworth. But Bentley Glazer definitely picking up speed, or should I say not losing as much speed as Jeff Schmeyer in front of him.
Yeah, there's a big gaggle of cars here, and because of what's going on with the lap traffic, that has forced the 30 to be used as a pick by those lap cars, and that has gotten Bentley Glazer up into the third position. Jeff Schmeyer still trying to work his way through lap traffic. The 3 we know has fresh tires. The 20 and the 27 just trying to get out of the way, and now they're going to possibly add the 07 of Keith Kelman to this mix, add Marty Ray in, who we saw coming out of pit road. This is getting crazy up here at the back end of the top 5.
Wow. Sure is. I was wondering when you were going to take a breather.
I was wondering when they were going to give me a second to take a breather. As now Marty Ray trying to work his way through. Ray, we saw him coming out of pit road. So he is on fresh tires. And the question now is, will these guys need to pit? Here, we've got, 37 laps to go. There's a chance these guys might not need to pit. With pit at pretty much the halfway point, can these guys hang on?
86 laps, you think?
For a normal track, that's a really tough ask.
Yeah, and this is about half a normal track.
Yeah, it's Hollingsworth putting Charles Woods a lap down.
I feel like they got a pit, man.
He might need a little splash and go, and you can see there the graphic on the bottom of your screen. Lap 73, that was the caution that those guys pit on. They're asking their car to go 87 laps on a tank of fuel. That might be pushing it here, as Hollingsworth is really stretching his legs now, up to a 1.5-second lead over Ryan Steele, who is now about to get swarmed by lap cars on fresh tires.
Yeah, most definitely. And I want to go back to the fuel thing. Ron Holifield pitted on lap 80. He's 15th. He's 17 seconds behind the leader. I feel like he can make it, if these other guys can't. Could be interesting to see.
Certainly will be, as there's Ryan Steele after he's gotten mugged. By the two.
What a word.
By the two cars on fresh tires, as Marty Ray now trying to work around Paul Huffman. That is not for position, by the way. Marty Ray just one lap down, probably 2 laps down, in the 19th position. Paul Huffman is about 8 laps down, down in 30th. So that is not for position between those two. Marty Ray, I believe, is the first car 1 lap down to get his the lucky dog. We're about to see. No, actually, you're right. No, it's Charles Woods.
Woods. I think.
Yeah, it is Woods, as I believe.
Well, maybe not.
I
think it's Charles Woods.
I think Bob Beltrami might have had an issue here, because Beltrami. Oh no,
no.
Good.
They see when you switch over to Bob Beltrami, timing shows Marty Ray, but when you're on Marty Ray, shows
it's showing it's.
It's probably where they are on track, but it's Marty Ray.
Yeah, here's Beltrami on screen right now. Still sitting in that 10th position is Bob Beltrami. And again, as we go back up to the front here, there's Jeff Hollingsworth, who's just gotten passed by Marty Ray and Paul Huffman. And just again, to show you just how spread out these guys get here at this track, they are everywhere around this racetrack. There's JH, Jeff Hollingsworth, on the track map there. RS, Ryan Steele, BG, Bentley Glazer. That's where 1, 2, and 3 are. We'll give you the position numbers there. 1, 2, 3. That's how far apart they are. On track, 4th and 5th actually have separated themselves quite a bit, as Brian Barnes has gotten around Jeff Schmeyer, partly due to tire wear and partly due to the fact that a bunch of lap cars probably not making life easy for Jeff Schmeyer. And looking a little bit further back, even Kyle McCartney has just gotten around Lucas McNeil. He has worked himself back up into the 6th position, the position he started in.
Wow, great recovery. I expected it to happen, but seeing it is a whole different story. So great recovery for Mile McCartney is what I was about to say. For Kyle McCartney, I should have just gone ahead and done it. Mile Canardi or whatever.
Yeah, there you go. There's the new meme for the series there. As Kyle, we have been green flag racing here since the 4th caution of the race. I believe it was on lap 80. So we have been green flag racing here ever since. So from about lap 84, 85 up until now. 22 laps to go. Looking a little bit further back, this is at the back end of the top 10. This is a battle for the 8th position between Rob Gall and Wayne Hutchinson, and, well, not really much of a battle now, was it?
Nope, just kind of went right on by.
So that's Wayne Hutchinson promoted up into the 8th position. A little bit further back, Thomas Mole getting around Mark Mcfadden, and now trying to put an attack on the driver of the number 53, Carl Burke. as this race winds down. 21 laps to go. And we're getting towards the back end of the top 10 here. There is Dennis Fuson. He is the last car on the lead lap right now, running in the 15th position. Is Dennis. Having a solid night is the driver of the 11 as he gets out of the way of Jeff Hollingsworth. And Hollingsworth right now looks well on his way to his first win of the season. Has had a couple podiums this year already and is certainly has put on a clinic here tonight at Richmond.
Yeah, he sure has clinched the most laps led, 50 laps ago?
Yeah, just about.
I don't really feel like I've seen anybody else in front of him, honestly.
He hasn't. He has been in the lead from the drop of the green flag here tonight.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't think anybody else has taken that away from him. He's consistently the fastest car, lap in, lap out. I don't know. This must be his track. This just seems to be where he's comfortable. In fact, I don't think I've seen him miss his line even once. Not even once.
He has been on absolute rails as there is the 7 of Ron Holifield in front of him. Holifield in the 13th position. In the 13th position. As actually, I think William Fletcher has... Up there. No. Got all discombobulated there. There's Holifield. And right in front of him is Will Fletcher. These guys are at the tail end of the lead lap here with 15 laps to go once we hit the line. And Fletcher, a solid run. He was the one that got into Kyle McCartney early on. Had that damage on the right front. Has been able to keep that truck up in a competitive spot, hovering around the top 10, running 11th right now. A very solid run tonight for the driver of the number 28, Will Fletcher.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done a fantastic job trying to keep that damaged machine in a good position, and he's doing a pretty decent job so far.
Yep, he certainly has. And Hollingsworth got held up big time there by Holifield. Holifield might have been trying to let him get around the outside going into one, but that is Javier Torres as there's the caution coming out, and that's why the 85.
Oh, wow.
Right in the middle of the track, that was Eric Woods. There he is. And the caution has come out.
Well, no one's running out of fuel.
Yeah, no, this would be pit stop time certainly here. As we'll see what happened really quick to Woods. May have had a little bit of contact with the 65. Yep, around they go.
Oh, wow, it was close.
Yeah, did a great job to stick it right where he was and then get it turned around, and that came right in front of the leaders. And speaking of the leaders, here they are down on pit road for what will certainly be the final time here tonight. And we will see who wins the race off of pit road here.
Man, to be honest, I wish I knew. I wish I knew if they could have made it.
I really do too. We'll certainly find out. That'll be one of the questions we ask. Certainly. Yes, there's Hollingsworth, just has to roll out, and there he goes. And with this pit stop, no, still there is. It's Ron Holifield. Holifield, I believe, getting the wave around, the lucky dog there on that pit stop. So he is going with the lap cars. So the 7 of Holifield gets back on the lead lap. And some drivers will be taking a wave around to get their lap back. Looks like David Weaver, Charles Woods, Barry Phil, Paul Huffman in the 3. Javier Torres in the 20, who blinks out. There he is again. And that number 20. Hopefully. Come back to us. There he is. In that number 20. So those guys will get the wave around, and this is going to be a firework-filled restart here, as we are going to be inside of 10 laps to go when we take the green flag here. So this certainly could get exciting.
Most definitely. Now we're going to see 2, 3 wide, sliding, pushing, several door dings.
I think the one that's certainly going to be wanting to get a great restart here is Jeff Hollingsworth. He is, again, has led every single lap here tonight. We're working lap 150. He has led every lap. I'm sure he wants to keep it that way.
And God, I don't want that one lap blemish. But you know what? On the short run, man, him and Ryan Steele are about as even as can be. On the long run, I think Jeff Hollingsworth is a touch better. But with under 10 to go, I think any one of those top 4 are contenders.
The best lap of the race right now does belong to Jeff Hollingsworth at a 21.97. That is the best lap of the race. And right now, we might see that eclipsed as these guys try to beat and bang to get every position that they possibly can. Jeff Hollingsworth coming off of turn 4 gets a good start. Bentley Glazer, however, was right there with him. We're back to green flag racing here. Only, 8 laps to go.
Yep, only 8 laps to go. Unfortunate for Ryan Steele. Definitely not the restart he wanted. Open the door for Bentley Glazer. Move Ryan Steele back to 3rd. But now Jeff Hollingsworth has new competition. Bentley Glazer, who's not slow. But, man, look at Ryan Steele.
Oh, there's McNeil around in the back.
Oh, wow.
McNeil around hard. David Wood, Carl Burke.
Ooh, 04.
David
doing
Wood
wheelies
in there as well.
Yikes.
We're going to have to do it again here.
Well, Mr. Bentley Glazer is one step closer, but now Ryan Steele is going to restart on the inside.
Yeah, but that's certainly what gave Glazer the start that he needed. As we'll take a look back at this caution flag. And again, it's just these guys running close, trying to gain every position they can. McNeil makes the dive, and it looked like Beltrami got in a little too hot. Sent the 51 around, and then it's just a log jam from there.
Yeah, that goes back to what I said about this being a very narrow track in those corners. Nowhere to go.
Look, once again, a little bit higher here. McCartney gets the spot, and Beltrami trying to work as hard as he can to get through. Thomas Mole involved. Earl Weaver, Keith Kelman, Marty Ray, David Wood in the 27, as we mentioned.
I want to go back up to the front real quick because I was incorrect. Ryan Steele lost the 3rd position too. He's going to restart 4th, so he's got his work really cut out for him now. Brian Barnes has been working his way up slowly. Look at him in the P3 position, starting on the inside. Could he get another run like Bentley Glazer did and clear Bentley Glazer on the outside, and this be a battle between Brian Barnes and Jeff Hollingsworth?
If I remember right, Brian Barnes' best finish of the season was the 5th place finish he had back at the season opener at Dover. I might be wrong on that, but I believe that is his best finish of the season.
Wow.
So for Barnes right now, again, and Barnes started in the 11th position, so this is certainly as high up as Barnes has been all night long. Another guy who is seeing new heights here tonight is Wayne Hutchinson. Now, we were going to focus on Hutchinson before that caution came out. The 17 of Hutchinson only took 2 tires on that last pit stop trying to gain some positions. He restarted fourth and got swarmed right off the bat in that number 17. So Hutchinson trying to sneak some points out of here up in sixth right now.
Well, if he can slide down right behind Kyle McCartney, he could probably squeeze out a top 10, which would be not a bad move. I'm not sure where he's really been running all race, but I'd be satisfied with a top 10 on a gamble. In a field this full. In a 33-card field, yes. In a 20-card field, top 10 kind of sucks.
Only
five,
three DNFs here tonight. Adrian Moore has called it an evening. Dan Stussy, Stephen Bayard was the first one, and Scott Hutchinson did not make the start. So only 4 drivers of the 34 that we had to begin this race here tonight not going to cross the line at the moment. Now, unfortunately, there is time for that to change, as we're going to have 3 laps to go when we hit the line.
Ooh, the excitement's coming.
It certainly is.
It is coming now.
As once again, it will be Jeff Hollingsworth leading the field down. Bentley Glazer starting on the outside, trying to time the jump perfectly. A good start by Jeff Hollingsworth. Glazer's going to have room to get down. 2 laps to go here at Richmond.
Absolutely. Bentley Glazer may not have got the start that he wanted, but Ryan Steele and Brian Barnes behind them didn't get a start that was any better. It's looking like it might be the Bentley Glazer show. And
Rob Gall. Oh, a couple of big hits, and this has blocked the track up on the back straightaway.
Yikes. Holy moly.
Guys are starting now to figure it out, as that was a big one. We'll see what happens here from high above. There's Rob Gall on the outside. Oh, it looks like he just got loose off of 2. They're gonna take a couple of big hits here. McFadden, Weaver. Just stops the whole track up. I mean, those are a couple of healthy hits as we ride on board now with Gall, and yep, he got loose. And that's...
Gosh, that sucks. You know, I've been driving for an hour and a half, and one little thing takes you out. Oh, man.
I mean, in Gall, we were talking about it before, having missed last week's race, had that big fall in points, and was en route to a top 10 finish. And this has really put a wrinkle in that.
Yeah, I believe he blew up, too. I think I heard that.
Yeah, it sounded like it to me.
Well, Bentley Glazer, Brian Barnes, and Ryan Steele get another shot at it. How many chances are they going to get? Jeff Hollingsworth is like, golly, one of these times I'm going to screw it up. This needs to hurry up.
Now, this is an official green-white checkered finish now. We had an unofficial one at the last restart. This is an official one. And I believe, John, if you take a quick look at how many green-white checkers we have here, I believe it's 2.
I'm trying to tell you.
Through the race info there.
That's what I'm looking at, but... Yep, one... nope, I'm sorry. Totally different thing. 3. It is 3.
Okay. So
actually 3.
So 3 green-white checkered attempts here. Now, we're not in any danger of this happening. However, last year at Texas, we did have a time limit finish. And I believe if it's still an hour and 40-minute time limit, we're still a good half hour away from that. So that's not a concern. So this will be attempt 1 of 3 at a green-white checkered finish. If Hollingsworth, or whoever the leader is, takes the white flag, the next flag ends the race. If they do not see the white flag and they see the caution flag, then we will try again. And this is where racing orders tend to get really jumbled up on a short track as we go green next time by.
Oh, yeah. I want to see if Jeff Hollingsworth can seal the deal here. I mean, he's managed to every other restart. God, you know, the odds start stacking against you.
It's just more and more chances, unfortunately, for something to go wrong. As we will reset here the top three rows here for you. It'll be Hollingsworth, Glazer, Barnes, Steele, Schmeyer, Hutchinson. Those are the top three rows here for what we hope is the final restart. And a great restart by Hollingsworth. Green, white, checkered on the line here, and it looks as though Steele's going to get a very good run on the outside, but unfortunately he's going to have to slow up a little bit more, and the caution is out again.
Jeff Hollingsworth shaking his helmet. Come on, I just got to get around. Give me 25 seconds.
This is the 11 of Dennis Fuson was the cause of this caution.
Pace truck decides to drive through the competition.
As you do. They were wrecking in front of him. Oh my
wow.
Goodness. Huffman took a huge hit in the 61. Fuson there, unfortunately, a victim of circumstance. As, boy, that number 11, he might need some Tito's after this.
That was funny. I don't know why it's so funny, but that was so fun. That was hilarious.
His crew's certainly going to need it fixing that car.
Oh, yeah.
So this will be attempt number 2 at a green-white checkered finish. There is Marty Ray getting the lucky dog. And the order will remain the same. Hutchinson actually lost that 6th position, so now Kyle McCartney will start in the 6th position.
You know, that might be better for Hutchinson.
It certainly might be.
Especially on those 2 tires as opposed to 4.
So the top 10 right now is Jeff Hollingsworth, Bentley Glazer, Brian Barnes, Ryan Steele, Jeff Schmeyer, Kyle McCartney, Wayne Hutchinson, Thomas Mole, Lucas McNeil, and Ron Hollifield. That is your top 10. A little bit beyond that is William Fletcher, Carl Burke, Charles Woods, Dennis Fuson, Marty Ray, and Kevin Thrift. Those are the top 16 drivers, and those are the only 16 drivers right now that are on the lead lap. Bob Beltrami, Javier Torres are 1 lap down each. Earl Weaver and Rob Gall round out the top 20, and those two are 4 laps down. 3 laps down at the moment. Mark Mcfadden make him 3 laps down as well in the 21st position. So we have another second here before we go back to green flag racing. And once again, coming up here on ESPN over the rest of this week, nothing tomorrow. On Thursday night, though, we'll give you a double dip as the USRA Cup Series heads to Dover for the 10th round of their season. That broadcast with the two of us, both myself and John, will be in the booth for that at 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Then will be the debut of the Dirty Old Bastards 410 Dirt Series. They will start their season at Volusia at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Sam Cooper Bennett will be in the booth for that. Then on Friday night, myself and Nate Siefker will call the iRacing East Super Speedway Series event at the iRacing Super Speedway. at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Sunday night, Sam Cooper Bennett and a broadcaster to be named later will be calling the Chris Cup race at the Nashville Fairgrounds, which is a first for ESPN as well to feature the Nashville Fairgrounds. So here we go, attempt number 2 at a green-white checkered.
Man, another outstanding restart by Jeff Hollingsworth.
And unfortunately, Ryan Steele was caught well outside, 3 wide between him and Kyle McCartney. 3 wide, and that's going to force Steele all the way back into the 5th position. Still fighting with Jeff Schmeyer. White flag is out. Next flag will end the race. Hollingsworth is out to a solid lead. The caution is out, however, and that will do it. Or will it? Our timer's showing 3 to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
Did he take the white? Or is this a Jeff Gordon at Martinsville situation? No, it's showing white flag first. So this should be it.
Golly, I'm still angry about that Jeff Gordon situation. My God. I believe that was the year the Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Clint Boyer wreck, right?
Yes, it was. That was the... Oh, no. There was another one at Martinsville where Gordon was coming off of 4 to take the white and the caution came out. That was another one.
He must have lost that race.
Yeah, he did lose that race.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
No, it looks as though as Beltrami's taking his wave around.
Race is not over then.
Yeah, that's my thought is... See, now this happened to me, actually, if you recall, in a race that was not broadcasted on ESPN. My first race with the Chris Cup guys in the trucks at Talladega, I had crossed the start-finish line to take the white flag. Caution came out immediately after, and it did not register.
Oh my God!
That the white flag had come out and caused another restart.
And you wrecked.
Yeah, and no, actually, I ran out of gas, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I lived to tell the tale, and I ran out of gas. Here's the cause of the caution. It's Paul Huffman going into 3, and Mcfadden tried to dive it in on Barry Phil, who's had enough issues tonight. And that was the cause of the caution. And I think for those guys, that was not for position. Mcfadden is 2 laps ahead of Barry Phil. So Hollingsworth, this is the last attempt at a green-white checkered finish. So now it doesn't matter what happens from here. The race is over with the next flag.
Yeah, so but how many times can Glazer get a bad restart on the outside, though? Or can Jeff Hollingsworth just get the superior start?
Well, I mean, that's what comes with having control on these restarts. Is you can go whenever you feel as though you want to go. Now, typically, you would go around here, which is where the restart box is. As we get set to go, green flag racing. Yet again, it will be Hollingsworth and Glazer in the front row again. Second row this time looks a little bit different. Kyle McCartney and Brian Barnes make up row 2. Ryan Steele and Jeff Schmeyer make up row number 3. And with this, John, lead them down for the final time tonight.
Oh, with pleasure. Jeff Hollingsworth, Bentley Glazer. Who's it going to be? Another superior start from Jeff Hollingsworth, or is Bentley Glazer going to get it right to contend for the win? Green flag is out. Jeff Hollingsworth with a good start. Bentley Glazer with a great start for himself. He's going to come into turn 1 right behind Jeff Hollingsworth. Will he move him? Will he be able to move him? Will Brian Barnes try to make a move? 2 wide, battle for 4th.
Oh, there goes Ryan Steele around off the front bumper of McCartney. Caution is out, and the race now is over.
It's over. Race is over. Jeff Hollingsworth hangs on, leads every lap, wins the race. Yep, unfortunate for Ryan Steele. Golly.
Yep, that is the long and the short of it.
Wow.
So as the field catches up to the pace truck on the white flag coming to the checkered, crossing the line, we can now call it official. He has led from pillar to post. Jeff Hollingsworth wins round 4 at Richmond.
Incredible.
With a performance that I doubt will be matched the rest of the season.
Yeah, I can hear in driver chat now. Everybody's saying dominating win, great job, etc.
He certainly earned it. Did Hollingsworth. We'll go back and see what caused the caution to end the race. We saw it pretty clear on the broadcast. Well, live as it happened. We'll go and see here. Watch the 8 on the outside line. Ryan Steele. Well, the 8 came down to get behind Ryan Steele at going into the corner. And that, unfortunately, was all she wrote. As we take a look on board McCartney.
Oop. And goodbye.
Yep. And that's the end of the race from there.
Crazy.
So as we wait for the top 3 drivers to get into and ready for interviews, Jeff Hollingsworth, Bentley Glazer, and Brian Barnes, your top 3 here tonight.
McCartney came home 4th.
Yep, and Kyle McCartney, you're right. After
what a recovery.
Yeah, after getting spun out earlier in the race by William Fletcher, recovers to get up into the 4th position, as you mentioned. And with me now is the man who led tonight from pillar to post, Jeff Hollingsworth. Every lap led here tonight. Congratulations on a dominating performance.
Hey man, I thank you. That was rough. That was fun though. But I've not done that before, so I feel really good about it.
Yes, certainly. I would hope you do. How you looked like you were on rails all night long. I know this is not an easy track to drive, and with how many drivers here, it wasn't an easy race to run. But how calm was it for you in that Coast Guard truck tonight?
All the starts, it's really close. But I knew that after that first run, that after I started getting a green run, that I could just kind of, just distance myself. I have a way that I drive this track, and all of my teammates and myself, you guys probably do it when you race. We compare tire wear at the end of a run, and I just have better tire wear. I don't know. It's just how I do it. But long green runs are my jam there. It was a lot of fun, though. Good racing by everybody that I was around, and I had a blast.
It certainly was. It certainly looked as though you were just cruising out there tonight. How bad was the lap traffic? I know for the leader it's a little bit different, but how was the lap traffic to get around here tonight?
Everybody was really cool for me. I never had a problem. I've know, like what you're saying, if you're second and back, sometimes it's not as easy. And well, to me, they they should race the leader more, but this league is full of gentlemen, guys that race each other all the time, and I always call it my gentleman league. Just probably there's a lot of them that are older. I'm in my 50s, and they're cool. Everybody was cool about it. I didn't have really a problem. Said thank you to everybody that let me buy, and everybody was like, "Hey man, take me on the inside or whatever." I'm lucky. I didn't have any problems. I knew track position would be big. That's why I was really trying really hard to get a good qual lap, because at this track, you guys know track position is king.
Yeah. Certainly, pole led every lap win. It's pretty much the grand slam for you here today. It could possibly be a different story next Tuesday night as we head to Bristol, Tennessee, and the Bristol Motor Speedway. What are your thoughts going into the high banks of Bristol?
Not one of my best tracks, and again, it's a lot of that is luck and stuff there. I mean, you get up front and everything, but I mean, anything can happen, and it happens so quick at Bristol. It's hard not to get involved in something that happens around you. So, just need luck there, I think. And if this league, if they go green, I mean, it'll be like this. It'll just be long green runs, a lot of fun like that. But I hope that happens anyway.
Yeah, we're certainly hoping that happens as well. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go and celebrate a well-deserved celebration tonight?
Well, yeah, I'd like to shout out to my teammates, Bentley, Ron, and Charlie, and we just have a lot of fun, and just old guys that like to. Well, Bentley's not old, but the rest of us are. We just like to hang out and have fun, and they're my teammates at Old Guys Rule. ESPN always puts on a great broadcast. I can't wait to watch it, and Frank, I appreciate what you do, and Sam and everybody that does what they do, and especially Bob for putting this league on for all of these years for us to enjoy. Tip your hat to him, man. I mean, 1,703 races now. That's a lot of races, and that's it, man. Hope everybody's safe, has a good week, and God bless you and yours.
Thank you very much. Same to you. There's your race winner tonight, Jeff Hollingsworth, sir. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, brother. Take care.
You too. We now head over to our second place finisher here tonight. And John, you are with one Bentley Glazer.
Hello, Mr. Bentley Glazer, Jonathan, and Frank up in the booth. I've got only a couple questions for you. You come home P2. You tried your best, tried to get around Jeff Hollingsworth. What was the difference on those restarts? What seemed to be stopping you from getting side by side with him on the restarts?
Just he'd get good restarts. There's nothing really I could do. He was a lot faster, and tonight I just wasn't very fast. I was probably like a P5 car. Got lucky with those cautions, just being second. And plus, I saw Jeff led the whole, like every single lap, and that would have really stinking that show up.
Yeah, you're right about that. But yeah, every single lap you had several shots at it. But well, from what it sounds like, you're being also a great sport. So we appreciate that up in the booth as well as we do drivers. So my last question for you, and then I'll see if Frank has anything for you. On the last green flag run, coming to 10 to go, or was it 9 to go? Were pit stops going to be needed, or was everybody going to be able to make it if it stayed green?
Everybody's gonna make it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I was questioning that. I wasn't sure, but that was a question that's just been eating me up. I've been wanting to know. That being said, I'll turn you over to Frank if he's got anything for you. Go ahead, Frank.
All right. What are your thoughts next week? You won the opening two races. You qualified second here, finished second here. Really, your only bummer was last week at Atlanta. What are your thoughts going into Bristol next week?
I think probably another strong run. Hopefully, definitely top 5. Winning at Bristol is pretty tough, so I'm sure I'll be up there. But it's always a tough race for sure.
It certainly is. Anybody else? Anyone you want to thank before we let you go and celebrate?
Thanks to you guys, and thanks to Western States Racing League. And congrats to Jeff. It was a great run. Good run from Brian too. He's always there at the end.
Certainly. And so there he is, your second place finisher here tonight, Bentley Glazer. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so we now go to our third place finisher here tonight, Brian Barnes. This is going to be a different interview from what we went through with the first two. You started in the middle of the pack here tonight, had to work your way up and through those restarts and being in the right line. Ended up finishing third. What was it like for you getting through the field here tonight?
Like you said, being in the right line, I was kind of glad when my teammate out-qualified me and put me in the 11th. That way I could start on the inside. And I had an inside start on every one of the restarts, and I think that's what allowed me to catch a car here and there.
Getting through the pack, we saw you in a couple of battles throughout the field. How tight was the racing here tonight?
Well, Goodyear brought such a good tire that it took 40 laps for them to wear out and actually make a difference, and sort through the field. But it was very tight. I mean, it took a long time for you can make something happen.
It certainly did appear that way. Going into, you're taking this momentum. I believe this is the first time we're talking to you this season, correct?
I think so. I've had kind of a slow start. I'm, been kind of keeping up in the top tens, but just
this is
itching away at it.
Yeah, this has been your best finish here this season. Going into Bristol, it's another short track. You performed well here at the short track at Richmond. What are your thoughts going into to the high banks of Bristol next week?
As long as the old shoulder holds up, I usually do pretty good there, but that one takes its toll on an old 61-year-old man.
Yeah, as one would expect, unfortunately. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go and celebrate tonight?
Thank you guys for broadcasting. It's been a pleasure to watch, and the next day, and all the guys at work watch through it too with me, so it's kind of fun.
Well, I'm sure they'll enjoy tomorrow afternoon. So your third place finisher here tonight, Brian Barnes. Sir, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
All right, so that is your top three finishers. Not sure if we're going to be able to put the grid up. Unfortunately, the finishing order up here. The room ended a lot quicker than the session ended a lot quicker than we had initially thought it was going to. So might have an issue putting the grid up here tonight. But John, regardless, it was a very fun race, a great night for racing nonetheless, and just a lot of interesting things happening over the course of this race, and it provided some pretty solid entertainment here tonight.
It was definitely exciting. I mean, regardless of the series of cautions at the end of the race, it went really, honestly well. I really don't count those last three cautions. I mean, when you're at a short track, you line up these drivers with a chance to win or gain 5 spots over the course of 2 laps. They're going to have cautions. There's no way around it. So that one caution towards the end, I mean, it was a sure and that we were going to have a few more. So aside from that, I mean, exciting racing, a lot of side-by-side action with 25 to go, a lot of broken hearts from a couple of those last cautions, a dominating performance by Jeff Hollingsworth, but several guys that could have potentially given him a run for his money. Wasn't meant to be for them, and Jeff Hollingsworth made it happen, even with the 5 restarts at the end he had.
Yeah.
So incredible racing, a lot of fun.
It certainly was, and this is where we're going to see if we can put the grid up. There we go. We got the finishing order up. So there is your finishing order here tonight for round number 4 at Richmond. Jeff Hollingsworth wins the pole, leads every single lap, wins the race here tonight. Just a performance, as I said before, one that we're not going to see the rest of the season is going to be very hard to duplicate at least. Bentley Glazer comes home in second. Brian Barnes finishes in third. Kyle McCartney and Jeff Schmeyer round out the top 5. Lucas McNeil, Wayne Hutchinson, Thomas Mole, Will Fletcher, and Carl Burke round out the top 10. Ron Hollifield, Charles Woods, Marty Ray, Kevin Thrift, and Bob Beltrami round out the top 15. Ryan Steele rounds out the drivers that finished on the lead lap here tonight. Started that final restart in the 6th position, ends up in 16th after what happened with him and Kyle McCartney on that finish. Looking a little bit further down, Earl Weaver. Where did I leave off? 16th, I'm sorry. Javier Torres in the 20. The first and only car one lap down, finishes in the 17th position. Earl Weaver, Rob Gall, and Mark Mcfadden, the 3 drivers that finished 3 laps down, round out the top 20.
All right, here coming into finishing 21st, it's going to be Keith Kelman, 22nd, Eric Woods. Those are the drivers that finished 4 laps down. Going into 5 laps down, Paul Hoffman, Barry Phil, 23rd, 24th. Dustin Burns brings it home, 25th. And, the graphic is...
Sorry. I was trying to be cheeky and see if something would work. It didn't work.
It did not work. Instead, it screwed me up.
Sorry.
That's all right. 26th is going to be Dennis Fuson, and 27th is going to be James Campbell. Austin Huffman brings it home, 28th. David Weaver, 29th. 30th is David Wood. Adrian Moore ended his race early, finishing 40 laps down. Dan Stussy was out early as well, 32nd. Stephen Baird was out. Bayard,
yeah.
Finishes 33rd. And Scott Hutchison, I believe, is he race control?
He did not start tonight.
Did not start. It's kind of weird. It says plus 178, and we only had...
Well, the 160 plus
70.
all the plus the 3 green, white checkered, so that would be the...
It's not 18 laps.
It was, actually. It takes a while around here to get these done. So that will pretty much do it here for tonight for the Western States Racing League round number 4 here at Richmond Raceway. Again, we brought it up a couple times. We're going to do it again. Coming up here on ESPN later in the week on Thursday night, it'll be a doubleheader. John and I will be in the booth for the USRA Cup Series at Dover, their 10th round of the season. And Sam Cooper Bennett will be in the booth on Thursday night for the debut of the Dirty Old Bastards 410 Dirt Sprint Car Series. They will be kicking off their season at Volusia at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. On Friday, January 29th, it'll be the iRacing East Super Speedway Series at the newly minted iRacing Super Speedway. We'll give you more history on that track when the night comes. Both Nate Siefker and I will be in the booth for that race starting at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Sunday night, Sam Cooper Bennett will lead you through, I believe, what is it, round 11 or 12? 11, yes? Of the Chris Cup Sim Racing Series. They will be at the Nashville Fairgrounds on Sunday, the final day of January. So for my broadcast partner, Jonathan Leach, my name is Frank Marchese. We thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Remember to like us, remember to follow us on Facebook, like the stream, follow us, subscribe to us here on YouTube, and give the stream a thumbs up if you enjoyed here tonight. So for my broadcast partner, Jonathan Leach, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Have a great night.